Hi, my name is Maz Wahid, and this video will examine the Srebrenica Massacre in Bosnia and Herzegovina during the Bosnian War, which occurred between 1992 and 1995. All who wish to go will be transported, large and small, young and old. Don't be afraid. Just take it easy. Let the women and children go first. No one will harm you. Those words were said by Ratko Mladic, a Bosnian Serb wartime army commander of the Republika Srpska, to the Srebrenica residents on July 12, 1995, which was the day after his troops captured their town. The next 2 weeks after the capturing of Srebrenica, Bosnian Serb forces murdered 7,000 to 8,000 non-Serbs. Mladic can be seen on the left of the picture with Bosnian Serb leader Radovan Karadzic and United Nations Protection Force Lieutenant General Felipe Murion. Before the Srebrenica genocide, the Socialist Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina was multi-ethnic, including Muslim Bosniaks. However, after the war and the massacre, we can see the arrow on the picture which points to Srebrenica in the eastern part of Bosnia, that the VRS were able to ethnically cleanse Bosniaks and fulfill their dream of creating a future Serbian ethnic state of Republika Srpska. During the first 3 months of war, from April to June 1992, the Bosnian Serb forces and GNA destroyed 296 Bosniak villages near Srebrenica and forced 70,000 Bosniaks to flee from their homes, and systematically massacred at least 3,166 Bosniaks. The humanitarian situation in Srebrenica during 1993 was dire. Food, medicine, and other essentials were diminishing, and Srebrenica became a death camp for refugees and civilians. According to a former Serb soldier named Nenad, he said, "It was almost like a game, a cat and mouse hunt. But of course, we greatly outnumbered the Muslims, so in almost all cases, we were the hunters and they were the prey. We needed them to surrender, but how do you get someone to surrender in a war like this? You starve them to death." So very quickly, we realized that it wasn't really weapons being smuggled into Srebrenica that we should worry about, but food. They were truly starving in there, so they would send people out to steal cattle or gather crops, and our job was to find and kill them. Although Ninan claimed that he did not participate in the killings of prisoners, his silence as a bystander still contributes to the physical cruelty of the oppressor. Non-Serbs fled to the city of Srebrenica in eastern Bosnia, which quickly became inundated with refugees. On April 16 of 1993, the Security Council passed Resolution 819 demanding that all parties and others concerned treat Srebrenica and its surroundings as a safe area which should be free from any armed attack or any hostile attack. However, by early 1995, the situation in Srebrenica had deteriorated into lawless violence, and the UN forces started running dangerously low on food, medicine, and ammo. In addition, in March 1995, Radovan Karadzic issued a directive known as Directive 7, also codenamed Kirivaha 95, that culminated in the massacre. The offensive commenced on July 6, 1995, with Bosnian Serb forces advancing from the south and burning Bosniak homes along the way. Thousands of civilians fled Srebrenica for the nearby village of Potocari. On the night of July 11th, more than 10,000 Bosniak men set off from Srebrenica through dense forest in an attempt to reach safety. Beginning the following morning, Bosnian Serb officers used UN equipment and made false promises of security to encourage the men to surrender. Thousands gave themselves up or were captured, and many were subsequently executed. Other Bosniaks were forced out of Potocari through the use of terror, including individual murders and rapes committed by Bosnian Serb forces. The women, children, and elderly were placed aboard buses, some of which had been brought from Serbia and driven to Bosniak-held territory. Some killings occurred on the evening of July 12th, and the mass executions ended on July 16th in places like soccer fields, warehouses, and even schools. The International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, ICTY, estimates Bosnian Serb killed between 7,000 and 8,000 men and boys after the fall of Srebrenica, making it the largest massacre in Europe after the Holocaust. It took some time after the fall of Srebrenica for international aid groups, the United Nations, and governments around the world to learn what actually happened. Because the Bosnian Serb leaders refused to allow outside organizations access to surrounding areas of Srebrenica, survivors and witnesses of the atrocities served as the main source of information in the immediate aftermath. Furthermore, the UN Criminal Tribunal eventually indicted more than 20 people for their involvement, including Radovan Karadzic and Branko Mladic. In 2016, Radovan Karadzic was sentenced to 40 years in prison for having found guilty of genocide and 9 other war crimes. Mladic was sent to prison in 2017 as he was also found guilty of genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. In April 2013, Serbian President Tomislav Nikolic issued an apology for what he called a crime that had been committed at Srebrenica, but he stopped short of calling the event genocide. He was wrong. This is a genocide. Looking back, it should be known that this Bosnian Serb army planned and committed genocide against Muslim Bosnian people and non-Serbs, who were mostly all civilians, and they raped many Muslim Bosnian women and children. Srebrenica should be an example of what extremist nationalism can lead to and how xenophobia and nationalist parties could trigger genocide. Thank you.